V103, happy King Day to everybody, man. Hit us up on social media. The Real RC at @1Smith_ATL. Yeah, we are here. We are live on your King Day holiday, 7:44 right now. Got a chance to talk to Reverend Bernice A. King. You know, one of the questions with all the things that we see going on in our community, you know, a lot of hashtags, a lot of things going on, a lot of protests for social change. I asked her about, you know, Black Lives Matter and her thoughts on that, and if the civil rights leaders that we know, what would they think about that? What do they think about it? And she had some very interesting points. I want y'all to check it out right now at 7:45 on V103.
One thing I can credit them with is raising the issue and keeping it before us.
Okay.
I do think that there needs to be some more education and training, especially if there's any reference to Dr. King in it, because there are ways in which we conduct ourselves in protest that what I've witnessed in some instances does not reflect what was taught in the movement. And so, you know, I do think we've got to find a way to translate what's going on into something that truly embraces the nonviolence that he embodied and taught us, and at the same time creating strategy.
Right.
Because what I see lacking is strategy for effective social change.
Do you think it's misguided, or do you think like there needs to be an assemblage of leaders, because it'll be something where somebody will pop up and they will say, well, it's a different way to make a dialogue happen as opposed to trying to disrupt an assembly?
Yeah. Well, the disruption is not the problem. It's the connection in the disruption. I mean, you know, disrupting the flow of traffic.
Right.
Because something happened with somebody in our community that was killed by law enforcement. Where's the connection? When they disrupted people at lunch counters, they were protesting related to lunch counters. That's where the problem is. And what you're doing is you're alienating people who really would be sensitive to your cause and maybe even join your cause.
That makes a lot of sense.
And then now they're angry. And you need, I mean, there's no one group that can make it alone in terms of bringing about change. You need coalitions, you need alliances, you need as many people as you can to join your cause. And so that's the problem I've had with it. It's not the disruption. It's you know, Daddy was calling people to D.C. right before he was killed to disrupt our government and to deal with the issue of the distribution of wealth in America. But it was directly connected. You could correlate it.
Right.
When they were marching across the Selma to Montgomery Bridge, they were headed to the Capitol because they were dealing with voting rights. But people were thinking they just marching across the bridge. Right. So that's why the education is important, coupled with the training, so that you're disciplined and dignified. I mean, when John Lewis got hit upside the head, there was this strength, and there was this you didn't see like, I'm pissed at you, I'm angry, you owe me something.
Right. There
was a whole nother posture, spirit, and demeanor that came across. And that's the kind of thing that exposes evil, because he's looking dignified in getting, that's crazy, looking dignified in getting your head beat. And these people looking foolish. But when you get in there and act foolish with them, it's hard for people who are not a part of it to have the kind of sympathy that they need to have.
Final question. What do you think on this day that you want people who they're off, they're sitting here listening to the radio with their children right now, and what would you like for them to have accomplished by the time that the sun sets this evening, as far as doing something community service-wise?
Well, I'm going to talk about something that may not be community service-wise, but I think we should all do. I think because of everything that's going on, I believe in the power of prayer. I'm not saying prayer absent action.
Right.
Because I know that is necessary. But I want to challenge people 10 minutes a day just to begin to pray for our young people, even young people, praying for them. Because they are threatened by so many evils, but many of them are also being lured into doing evil and mean things. And we need to pray every day. This year needs to just be a prayer devoted to them, because I believe we will gain some insight. And there's a power when people do this jointly, where things begin to, hearts begin to change, movement begins to occur. So that's one thing I want them to do. The second thing is, I was speaking recently for Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield, and the CEO, chair, CEO, and president introduced me. And in his comments prior to my introduction, he challenged each one of his workers to find a Martin Luther King Jr. quote that you can embrace for the rest of your life. My father's words are so life transforming. And I want to challenge people on this day to go and find one of those quotes, because there are many, that you can adopt as one of your philosophies, practices for life, and begin to live it out in every area of your life, every day of your life. Because, you know, we've done a lot of service, but something's got to begin to happen in us so that we can see some real change in our society and the world.
7:50 right now. Reverend Bernice A. King asking us to take 10 minutes and pray for the youth of the day. And what she wants you to do by the time the sun sets is to have done that. And also to find a quote from her father. I'm just looking at some of these brainy quotes. Jim?
Yeah.
We must learn to live together as brothers or perish together as fools. Faith is taking the first step even when you don't see the whole staircase. I have decided to stick with love. Hate is too great a burden to bear. Love is the only force capable of transforming an enemy into a friend. The time is always right to do what is right.